Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss how to set up Fedora KDE after we have completed our installation process, right? So the first thing we need to do is set up shortcuts, right? Because that's the thing that is going to drive our usage in all of the rest of the steps. Because if we set up shortcuts, we can do all of the rest of the steps pretty easily, like minimizing this, making this window in the side, taking the right side, window management, tab management, launching Firefox, for example, launching terminal pretty easily, right? So we need to set up shortcuts so that we can be able to, work effortlessly, and so that the rest of the steps we do becomes easier. So the first thing we need to do is launch the shortcuts, settings, which will have all of the shortcuts that are available. For example, for Dolphin, I have set up Meta E, or for those coming from Windows, that it's just Start E. And so if I click Start E, you see Dolphin launches, right? And for Firefox, I have set Start F, and calculator, and lots of other things could be done from this. You can also export shortcuts. You can import shortcuts if you find any specific shortcuts in the web that works for you, and you can use those. And after that, I think the biggest improvement could come from updating our system. So Start T for going to terminal, sudo dnf upgrade or update. Basically, both upgrade and update are the same thing. Upgrade is actually the command, and update was used back then, but it's not really used anymore. But it's kind of the same. So, let's just give the password and stuff. So I have already updated my system, so there's nothing yet to do. For you, there might be a lot of packages that needs to be installed, because Fedora usually doesn't pack in all of the latest versions of everything, but when they get installed, those latest version gets pulled up, right? So after updating, if your system is an Nvidia based PC, then you would need to set up that graphics driver, right? Because the Nvidia graphics drivers, the performance of the drivers that come in as default are not that great. If you have AMD or Intel based graphics cards, you don't have anything to do, because they already come with the best setup there is. So if you want your Nvidia graphics card to work well, you have to go to you have to go to the RPM Fusion website, right? So the RPM Fusion website is basically another store which contains some of the most important Fedora related packages that people generally use. So that's one of the first thing that should be done after updating your system and getting the hang of it, is that you add that store to your package repository. So since it's 2026 and we are talking about version Fedora 43, 44 and things like that, the specific command is given in this website. So I'll give the link down below of what actual command you would need to use. You just copy paste to the terminal. So Control C and then Start T, Control Shift V, and click Enter. The password, and I have already added it as a repository, so there's not going to be nothing to be done here. And then you just enable the open H264 library. After that, you are not really done yet. You have just added this as a store in your terminal, right? Now you need to go to one of the how-to page of RPM Fusion. Basically, what you need to do is check what type of NVIDIA driver you have, right? So you'll have to run this command, and if in this command you find that your graphics card is not listed as an NVIDIA driver, it's most probably an Optimus card. In that case, you'll have to run this command and you will see that it's an NVIDIA driver and things like that. So there's different instruction set for different graphics card versions. I am not going to go into each of them in details, but the gist of it is that you have to determine what graphics card version you have and just copy paste that command into the terminal, and that's about it. And after that you will install your package, and after installing of the package the driver will build in the background. So during the build process you should not shut down your computer because it's a critical driver and that might cause some display glitches and other critical failures. So you have to be on the lookout on that. After you finish all of the installation and things like that, you will find NVIDIA server settings, and if you install nvtop, then you will find NVIDIA graphics card in your system. Yeah, things like that. Okay. Yeah. So after that, you may want to download some of the media codecs. Like let's say you want to play DVDs, you want to play other video codecs that are not supported by default in Fedora, because Fedora believes in pure open source model and they try to stay away from any proprietary stuff. But for your convenience, you may need to install those packages. So you just copy paste those things to dnf and and you put in your password and things like that, and additional codecs if you want hardware acceleration, and if you have an Intel based card, if you are an AMD based card, and if you have an Nvidia based card. So this is a very base level setup that's going to be enough for your PC to start functioning properly. But I don't think you would be satisfied with that just yet, right? Because you have just set up your graphics card, but you have so many other things that you may need to set up, right? So in that case, the first quality of life improvement you will probably have is customizing your Firefox to your liking. For example, I like to install uBlock at origin. This blocks all those ads, trackers, coin miners, pop-ups, and things like that. Personally, I think browsing the internet nowadays is it's kind of visiting a minefield, right? And in this minefield, not having an ad blocker is like opening yourself up to various forms of attacks of all types, right? Yeah. So I personally use uBlock Origin. Also, I have another extension which is Dark Reader, which I use at times when I feel like I need dark mode and stuff like that. So yeah. And if you want, there are lots of other things that you can do in Firefox config file, like you can enable hardware acceleration in Firefox. You can try to maintain say to Firefox that they should preserve memory. You should You can instruct Firefox to do other things like that. Customize all of the things to your liking. For that, I just go to about config and put all of the settings that I want to put. Yeah. After you set up Firefox, right? The next thing you probably would want to do is set up your input methods and configurations. So Fedora KDE's latest versions are based on Wayland, right? And Wayland is pretty much there, but there are some quirks out there. For example, if you want to type in different languages using Wayland, it throws in errors in IBUS. If you want to avoid those IBUS related errors, and if you want speech to text functionality, there are speech to text functionality set by default, but those things don't really work that well. So you can use fctext5, which is pretty much Wayland compatible. Just DNF search fctext5 and install it. You can also install it as a Flatpak, which is probably much less headache, because Flatpaks are they contain all of the dependencies, so you don't have to worry about dependency management at all. Okay, and for speech, you have things like speechnote, right? Speechnote you can find in the Discover app. So if you go to Discover and search speechnote, you will find things like that. And if you install speechnote, you will see that you can have whisper typing models and so many other bells and whistles if you want that. If you do not need that, then obviously you don't have to install that. Yeah. And we come to one of the most crucial part, which is setting up backup and integrating Google Drive, OneDrive to your Dolphin file explorer, right? So things like that. So if you are comfortable, if you know about Borg backup, rclone and things like that, then probably you already know how to do it. But if you are a pretty much newbie and not sure how to deal with it, yeah, it's pretty simple. Just first off, if you want, let's say, to set up sync with your OneDrive or your Google Drive or your Dropbox and things like that, then you just go to rclone, and as you see, there's a nice little script here for just copy that, paste that in the terminal, and rclone will get installed. And after install, I have already installed it. Just type this. So yeah, it's saying that I have already set up Google Drive and OneDrive. You can see that it's here. This is my OneDrive. So basically, I can visit my OneDrive files and folders. This is my Google Drive. I can visit my Google Drive files and folders and things like that. Yeah. So yeah. So let's say you want to set up rclone for your Dropbox, right? Let's say go to new remote and then let's say name it drop. Let's just name it drop. And you can see number 14 is Dropbox, right? So let's just say 14 and then enter. We don't need the advanced config, right? So this is saying that should rclone authorization attempt launch in the browser. Now I don't actually use browsers, but if you were an user of Dropbox, you will get an auth attempt here. Now if you click here, then you will see that yeah, it's done. It will be done pretty much at that point. Yeah. using that methodology, after that you'll have to set up a systemd service for your clone to mount in here, like I have had. But that's a bit more advanced. But I'll give you a documentation script for to follow for how to set up that. And that's just you setting up your sync or mounting your cloud drive. But let's say you want to set up backup. In that case, deja or deja backup is pretty simple. It's just setting up backup. It's an incremental backup service which will keep your backup size small, and it pretty much is compatible with all of the good backup solutions out there, in a sense. And if you like board-based backup solutions, then there's the Pika backup. I think if you are using rclone as a starting point, then you should use deja. But if you want, let's say, more minimalistic, more simpler experience, maybe Pika backup could work. But do keep in mind that these backup solutions, rclone board, they are pretty different in their approach and stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's get on to it. Now, one of the biggest point is that people want applications right? They want all of the software, or if Linux doesn't have all of the software, then it just doesn't work for you, right? And for me, personally, I use OnlyOffice. I know that most of the people say to use LibreOffice, but I have seen that OnlyOffice is much more compatible with, let's say, Windows's various files like XLX, PPTX, and stuff like that. So let's just show you how it works. So this is basically OnlyOffice, and almost everything you do, apart from, let's say, Power Query, Visual Basic, VBA scripts, and things like that, everything works flawlessly in OnlyOffice. There's no compatibility hitch. I found LibreOffice to have more hitches than OnlyOffice, so I personally stick with OnlyOffice. This is pretty much a free software and stuff like that. You just go XLOOKUP and whatnot. Okay, yeah. So that's my Office solution. Okay, some of the times you would need to use text editors in your terminal, right? So what happens is the text editor in the terminal is usually Nano, but Nano requires you to adapt in different ways. Like, it doesn't allow you to copy through Control-C, paste, selection through Control-A, and things like that. So I do not like Nano. So what I instead prefer is Micro. So you can install Micro like this, sudo dnf install Micro, and it's pretty much a very lightweight text editor, which works as intended. Like, let's say, as my name is your name. Okay, I don't know what that sentence means, but whatever. So yeah, just like Control-A, the whole thing got selected, right? Now Control-C, whole thing got copied. Control-X, whole thing got cut. Now we are used to that workflow. So the workflow Nano tries to force on you, or other Emacs or whatnot, I personally feel like those just doesn't work for me. So I have switched my workflow to Nano, and I have also edited some of the bashrc files. Let me show you what edit I made. Okay, sorry. micro.bash rc. So this bash rc, so in online spaces you will see lots of scripts and all of them say nano. So when you just change that with alias and nano equals micro and export when you do that, when you use that command, instead of nano being run, micro will be run. And I have personally installed nano actually. Yeah. So okay, and let's move on. So you will also need code editors like Visual Studio Code and stuff like that. So I found VS Code is pretty good, but I also found that AntiGravity, Google's AntiGravity currently is doing pretty good, and installation procedure for AntiGravity seemed simpler to me in a sense. So yeah, just copy those, paste, enter password, enter, copy those, paste, enter, you know the drill, right? So anti-gravity, I have some small projects maybe and stuff like that. Yeah, ignore whatever. So those things, I found the AI models that is being coupled with anti-gravity seems to somehow work better. I don't know how it's happening, but I feel like anti-gravity is currently better than VS Code. So yeah, that's what I'm using as programming and stuff like that. Now move on. VPN, yes, VPN and Chrome, yeah. So for Chrome, the simplest solution is just you just search Chrome and in the Discover app, just install the Chrome. What I have done is a little bit more complicated, which is this script. Like you have to install a signing key, and then I don't think you would be needing that. I think it's needless complication, but I install that, but you won't need that. You just go there and install Chrome. Yeah. Okay. For VPN, I have found CloudFlare's service to be the most simple. You just install sudo dnf Cloudflare CLI, and then warp CLI registration new. Let's say warp. So you have to use that, and when you install your Cloudflare for the first time, you'll have to use this. But I have already registered, so I'll only need warp CLI connect. I am already connected, so I'm just gonna disconnect right now, or nah. I'm not gonna disconnect. I'm just gonna show you the status. Okay, so it's saying that my network is connected, it's healthy, and that's about it. If I want, I can disconnect. Oh my god, I cannot spell. Yeah, disconnected. As you can see, the icon here is grayed out. I can also connect from here. Yeah, that's connected. So I am now in VPN. The Cloudflare icon has lit up, right? So yeah. Okay, so that's how you install a VPN service. For example, for me, Cloudflare is enough, so I have stuck with this. Now, you may want some photo organization capabilities like Lightroom has. For that, I use DarkTable, which is basically a Lightroom alternative, which works pretty well, honestly speaking. Works pretty well for me. And then there's VLC. You can install it here, VLC, and FileZilla and Obsidian. Now, Obsidian is basically used by me for, all those infinite canvas and whatnot. This is an infinite canvas of sorts. It's an Excalibur thing here. You can also have various forms of, mind maps and stuff like that. For example, this is a Python mind map, which, if you see, there are this pretty sophisticated mind map and whatnot. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So Obsidian is something you can install for managing, taking short notes or long notes, your daily tasks. Obsidian has, Kanban boards. Obsidian has infinite canvas capabilities, mind maps, and lots of capabilities. It's insane. And for, notepad like short text editing, you can use Kate. It's just boom. It's fast. It's easy. You will see when you use it. Okay, and then there's nvtop, which we just discussed previously, to see if our graphics card is working or not, or things like that. Now, I also have been experimenting with this editor called Zad, which I found pretty interesting. And Zad utilizes graphics card pretty well. For example, oh yeah, that's another thing I have to mention, because if you use this run using dedicated graphics card, then KDE will realize that you want your dedicated graphics card to be used for this. So Zad is a very simple text editor in a sense, but it has all of the extensibility of VS Code and whatnot. So there's that, right? There's pretty huge benefit in that. Yeah, and then there's OBS for recording purpose, and KMyMoney, which I am not going to open, but you can use it for your investment tracking, spending tracking, and things like that. Also, another tool I use, which is Yum Extender, right? So sometimes the Discover app that's here, sometimes this completely slows down, or sometimes it becomes unresponsive for some reasons. So in that case, Yum Extender I have found has been much more valuable and, simpler utility. It can do all of the things that Discover can do. So install, update, flatpak, manage flatpaks and whatnot. So yeah, these are some of the things I have in my flatpaks and whatnot. So for Yum Extender, you have to enable a Copper repository which is maintained by Tim Lau. So just sudo dnf. You can this is a pretty big security risk. Now, why I bring this up, because Copper is actually not maintained by Fedora itself, but by some community maintainers. Now, you have to trust the code and everything. You have to see the binaries and everything to truly believe that, okay, this is a good package and I can build on it and stuff like that. So yeah, Yamex and ng, if you feel like it, you can install it, but it's not really a necessity or anything like that, right? And after that, the next most important thing is basically integrating mail, calendar, and other services with KDE based tools. So for Kmail and the calendar and whatnot. So for this, GNOME desktop is pretty good, because GNOME, when you integrate one service, all of the other services gets integrated away. But KDE lags in that regard, because KDE does not the tools, they don't integrate pretty well. So you'll have to separately go into the mail, the calendar, and other services that you want to integrate in and set up the accounts. It's pretty, just click. So I'm not gonna show you that. Just open up the tool and set up your account as you do in most of the cases, right? So still in 2026, I would say for all of the integration and stuff, GNOME is way ahead of KDE. It just works. But KDE has lots of customization options that you might like, and I also like, and that's why I have been using KDE. And last up, I want to talk about setting up Docker or Podman and Podman desktop or Docker desktop. So Fedora already comes in with Podman pre-installed in with it, so you have to go somewhere and install Podman. But if you indeed have to, then just just search Podman Fedora, and it will just come up and just add those and things. Oh, sorry, that's Podman desktop. Sorry. Yes, Podman Fedora, and things will come up here, and you just install it. Sudo dnfy install. Yeah, Podman, right. And for Podman desktop, you just have to go to the software center. In here, you install this. So why would you use Docker in the first place? Because if you use Docker, you will get access to lots of self-hosting tools that you can use, which are pretty beneficial if you use them correctly. For example, there's this, let's say, ERP next to, right? So if you want, you can set up a complete ERP software completely free of cost in Fedora Podman using this, right? So that's insane value. You would have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars for SAP or Oracle, or maybe even tens of millions or millions of dollars, and here you are getting it completely for free. So in that ERP software, you will have the HR and everything pretty much set up. If it's not set up, you can just grab a bunch of the tools and then add all of them up. For example, I have also installed Starling PDF, which is a free and open source tool. So Starling it's basically when I need extra functionalities that, let's say, Acrobat has. So if I want that, I can use Starling PDF. This launches as a container, as a Podman container. So I can sign PDFs, I can, merge, rotate, crop, text edit, and whatnot. There are hundreds of tools out there inside this. You can do hundreds of things with this, automate and whatnot. So that's just, there are, like thousands of softwares that you cannot install without having Docker or Podman installed. So this is pretty nice if you can configure this. For Fedora, you don't have to configure anything at all. You just have to, run the scripts that are there because Podman is already pre-installed, right? And if you just want Podman desktop to, as a GUI tool, we all like some GUI tools, right? So you can see all of the images. So this image is here, of Starling PDF. Using Podman desktop, you can also launch Kubernetes clusters, K8s to huge network scaling stuff and stuff like that, if you are into things like that, yeah. So that I would say pretty much covers most of the bases of things that you would want to do after you install your Fedora. And yeah, if you want some extra specific, customizations, for example, I have some customizations that I have did in my Basher C, for example. Let's say I have used micro as the default text editor. Here I have initialized Podman socket so that it's ensured that my Starling PDF runs correctly, and things like that. You can set systemd services using various scripts and things like that, which you will be able to use for automation purposes, or if you want it to be inside your desktop. So let's say this Google Drive and OneDrive, they are mounted, right? So they will not launch every time you launch your restart your PC and things like that. So you'll have to follow add a systemd script so that your Fedora OS, it realizes that, oh, this volume needs to be mounted every time this desktop launches. So yeah, this type of things as you go on, you'll explore, you'll understand how to do them. And if you feel stuck at any point, just ask in the comment section, or to ChatGPT. Better yet, Gemini. I think ChatGPT or Gemini are pretty good tools. They have all of the documentation, they have scraped all of the things, and they can give pretty good answers. So yeah,